Great Scientist English Workshop. Warming up activity. What would you like to learn about in your science period? Answer: I would like to learn about galaxy and stars and want to explore the world beyond the earth. Or you can write this answer in this way also. I would like to learn about the robotics and artificial intelligence. Have you ever tried to do an experiment on your own? If yes, tell me about it. If no, why you have never tried? Answer: yes, I have tried an experiment of photosynthesis, and I try many simple experiments under the guidance of my teachers. What would you like to learn about in your English classes? I would like to learn poems on different topics and life stories of great people. In grammar, I would love to learn variety of sentence patterns and constructions. In this table, types of machines are given in one column and examples in another. First one, simple machines that are operated by hand. Hand pump, knife, sharpeners, scissors and tools used for gardening. Machines that run on electricity: iron, mixer grinder, washing machine, air conditioner, electric bulb, etc. And electronic devices: mobiles, computers, tablets, televisions, etc. Write as many uses of the following as you can. A cloth bag. It can be used to bring grocery, some rough material, and most importantly to avoid plastic pollution. B. A beaker basket. To keep and carry flowers, can be used as picnic basket for keeping fruits and vegetables. To give something as a gift to our loved ones, and it can be used for so many things as a holder, as a towel holder and so many things. A glass bottle or jar. Bottles are used to keep liquids like water, juices, medicines, whereas jars are used in kitchen to keep some pickle or some spices in it. A steel bowl. It is used to keep cooked vegetables, to fry and boil many food items. A thick string of rope. It is used to tie something, used to support something and pull many things. Margin questions. What were the odds against Faraday in his childhood? Answer: Faraday was born into a very poor family. He suffered from a speech defect as a child. He could not complete his formal education. At the age of 13, he started working as a bookbinder. Question number 2. Why do you think Faraday's friend gave him a free ticket to Davy's program? Answer: Faraday's friend gave him a free ticket to Davy's program because he knew Faraday's love towards science and scientific things. What was the subject of Davy's lecture? Davy's lecture was about chemicals and electrical lighting, and there was a conversation among the scientists of that age. What actions and thoughts of Faraday show that he was inspired by Davy? Faraday was spellbound by Davy's lecture. He took notes about the mysterious force of electric fluid. He was so engrossed in the lecture that he forgot to applaud. His notes were so comprehensive that he bound them into a book, meaning to gift it to Davy someday. Faraday decided to become a great scientist. Davy became his role model. Faraday thought it would be wonderful if Davy became his mentor, but Davy did not agree. Faraday was not dejected, he kept trying and trying. Why did Davy choose Faraday as his secretary? Davy was temporarily blinded because of chemical explosion inside his lab. He needed an assistant to help him. He was reminded of Faraday and decided to hire him as his secretary. Was Davy fair in his treatment of Faraday? No, Davy was not fair in his treatment of Faraday. Davy never believed Faraday could do anything in the field of science going by his social status and education. Therefore, he dismissed Faraday's aspiration and advised him to stick to bookbinding. How did Faraday respond to that treatment of that is Davy's treatment? Faraday worked day and night and learned as much as he could about Davy's experiments. Soon Faraday became indispensable to Davy and was promoted to his lab assistant. This was his first step towards scientific career. 8. What happens when an electric current is applied to wire? When an electric current is applied to a wire, it passes through it and it makes the device like fan or light or other electrical devices to run on that current. An induction motor is commonly used electrical machine. What examples of its use are given here? Answer: fans, air conditioners, swing machines, photographs, power tools, cars, and even trains and aeroplanes. Give one example each to show that. Faraday was a good pupil. Answer: though Faraday had no social status, little education, without money, he had passion and love towards science and its fantasies. Though he was rejected by Humphrey Davy, he was not disappointed. He didn't give up, even when, as a lab assistant, he swept the lab for the love of science and learned many things on his own. He invented the induction motor, which was the difficult task for Davy. When Davy gave him an impossible task of Bavarian glass, he honestly worked over it. He learned from his failures and always strived to progress it. Davy was not a good mentor. Davy didn't think Faraday will do anything in the field of science because of his status and education. When Faraday became his assistant, he didn't guide him. The induction motor spurred a revolution which was born out of mockery directed at Faraday by Davy. Davy always remained jealous towards Faraday. He gave Faraday some impossible tasks. Why were Faraday's drawings not accepted? Does it mean that they were wrong? Answer: Faraday wanted to prove that sprinkling of iron filings on a sheet of paper near a magnet making circular patterns were not property of the iron filings. This is where his lack of formal education went against him. Faraday did not know much about advanced mathematics, so he just copied the iron filing patterns with his hands. He was unable to explain them in the form of mathematical equations. He made hundreds of such drawings, but without equations they were not accepted. Write what is implied in the following sentences. But a few know his inspiration life story, which is all about courage and fighting against the odds. Answer: the whole world knows about the success story of Faraday, but very few know the struggle behind it. From his childhood, he had difficulties and problems, but he did not give up. He could not complete his education. He was poor. He worked as a bookbinder. He was a talented person, but he did not get good mentor. And when he got one, he was envied. He was jealous to him. But Faraday did not mind. He went on learning new things which were very useful to him in his future. B. Even then, Davy did not have much hope for Faraday. What do the words even then suggest? Davy never believed Faraday could do anything in the field of science because he had no education, no social status, and no money. Faraday did many of Davy's experiments and became indispensable to Davy, but still he got the work of sweeping and cleaning the lab only. The words even then suggest that though Faraday learned many things, he was not accepted as learner of science by Davy. People started telling Davy that of all his discoveries, the best was Faraday himself. What do it suggest about Davy's work? Davy was very famous because of his work in the field of science. He invented many things and gave many theories to the world of science. But the invention of induction motor and its inventor, that is Faraday, gave many useful things to the world. So people thought that Faraday was the best discovery of Davy because he gave many things to the world. Break the passage into convenient smaller sections. Give subheadings or titles to each section. We can give some of the titles according to the life of Faraday in the lesson as first one, Faraday's childhood, Faraday as a bookbinder, a turning point, Davy's lecture, induction motor, Davy's jealousy, and Faraday as a complete scientist. These things are based on the life of the scientist Faraday. Question number 3. List the different gadgets and instruments mentioned in the passage. And these are light bulb, induction motor, fans, air conditioning, sewing machines, photographs, power tools, cars, trains, and aeroplane engines. Find the following matter in the passage and copy the missing words. When he was 12, his mother forced him to take him out of the school, thus putting an end to his formal education. One day he came across a book on electricity. Faraday decided to become a great scientist. Davy never believed Faraday could do anything in the field of science, going by his social status and education. People started telling Davy of all his discoveries, the best was Faraday himself. He handed him a piece of Bavarian glass, which was used in the lenses and telescopes and microscopes, and asked him to reverse engineer it. He went on to prove that these patterns were not property of iron filings. Question number 6. Now complete the following sentences using your own words. When he was 12, he mastered the computer. One day he came across a book on robotics. He decided that he would take higher education. He never believed in superstitions. People started telling him that he had done glorious work. He handed him an easy task which had no importance. He went on to prove that this theory